stars look like they're not shining. Your hair falls perfectly without you trying. And you're so beautiful, you should say that every day. Oh, you know, I'd never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, just stay the same. Don't even bother asking if you look okay. You know I'll say, when I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. And when you smile, the whole world stops and stares for a while, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. Yeah. Just the way you are. When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. When you smile, stops and stares for a while, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are. The way you are. The way you are. You're amazing, just the way you are. Sunday morning at CSL, here's announcement lady, with lots to tell.
Good morning. How are you? Yes. Excellent. Look at all these bright, shiny, cheery faces on this Sunday morning. Is this our last Sunday in August? Okay, phew. Oh, this is a revolt. No. Awesome. Well, let's get to this, shall we? Carmen, does everybody know who Carmen is? Yeah. If you don't, here's Carmen. Carmen is our administrator. She needs your help this week, if you can spare like a half an hour of time. We have a bunch of postcards for our conference that we are sending to all other centers, like-minded centers, any place that is interested potentially in the conference. So we need people to stuff some envelopes. Easy to do. If you can give us a half an hour time, even today, Carmen is in the office Monday through Thursday. She would love to see your bright, shiny faces. Come on in and volunteer your time for a little bit. That would be greatly appreciated, so we could spread the word far and wide across Canada, and people have postcards that they can pick up at their own centers. Classes, please don't wait until the last minute, because fall is around the corner. The Creative Process in the Individual by Thomas Troward, Wednesdays at 7 p.m., beginning September 3rd, which is around the corner. 10 weeks. This is a different Troward class than has been taught in the past, so it will be very fun and exciting. The book that is covered is The Creative Process in the Individual by Thomas Troward. Fancy that. Science of Mind 100, also 10 weeks. This will be on Sundays at 1 o'clock, beginning September 7th. It is the fundamentals of science of mind. This is where it all begins. If you're perhaps new to our spiritual philosophy and have some questions, not quite sure what everything means, this is the class for you. It's kind of the 101, would that be a good science of mind for dummies? You know, that, if they had that, no, and that's not, that's Ernest Holmes giving me a signal. Sundays, 1 o'clock. Come for that class, delightful. And Mental Muscle is scheduled to start tomorrow. It's limited to 10 people. We need a minimum of 8. If anybody is sitting on the fence, we need to know today, because it starts tomorrow morning at 7:30. I see somebody over there kind of shuddering. Now she's hiding her face. It's a 16-week class, spiritual boot camp. If you are interested, I believe Jonathan is going to speak a little bit more about it. Yes. And that is it for announcements for me. So I am going to turn the floor over to the fabulous man in burgundy. Is it burgundy? Sure. Burgundy? Cherry? Fabulous. 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 Everybody, Reverend Jonathan Zenz.
Thank you. Oh, this is yours. Oh, I'm going to put it here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone this morning? Woo! Fantastic. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Toronto. My name is Jonathan Zenz. I am the spiritual director here, and it is a pleasure to have you join us this morning on this beautiful, beautiful day. Isn't it a gorgeous day? Yes. I'll try not to keep you in here for too long, but I have a lot to say today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Mental Muscle to start off with. Mental Muscle is a 16-week program. I know 7:30 in the morning sounds scary, but it's not. Once you're in it, you look forward to being here for that time. You really do. Here's what's going on. I've had 2 people sign up. 2 people have signed up. I need a minimum of 8 to do it. I'm not going to do it for 2 people. So if we don't have 6 more people sign up today, I'm going to be canceling it. And the people that have already signed up are now looking at me and they're very disappointed. So I'm going to encourage you to please sign up for Mental Muscle. It's an incredible program. And in fact, I'm just on the fly going to invite our practitioner intern of the day to come up and say very quickly what Mental Muscle did for you.
Mental Muscle.
Oh, you've got a microphone.
I might. Hey. Well, this takes the nervousness out of standing out in front of people for the first time out of the way. So Mental Muscle actually changes your life. I did 7 of them. And, wow. and people said, why do you do it? And it's like layers of an onion. You just keep peeling and you reveal and you reveal and you learn, and it reveals more of who you are. It gets you to this philosophy even quicker. You don't need the 101s, 102s, although they're very important. Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. In Mental Muscle, what I meant to say is that in Mental Muscle, you touch on all of the spiritual principles that you would learn through all of those courses. So it's kind of, for those of you that are quick-minded and want to get there quick, it is a great tool. It changed not only my life, but the lives of my family, everybody around me, because as you start to embody and live this way, so too does everybody else around you. It's just a natural. It's like attracts like, and you start to be happy all the time, and people want to be happy all the time too. So I encourage you to do it. Each one was incredibly life-changing. Try your first. I swear you'll break through barriers that you'll be surprised that you didn't even know they were there. So,
indeed.
And in 16 weeks, change your life.
Beautiful.
Seriously, do the work.
Thank you, Fred. So this philosophy is all about peeling away the onion, ultimately. And we're constantly peeling away that which no longer works for us, and understanding that who we are is a creative energy. That's all. That's all we are experiencing life as. And so let's celebrate that today. What do you say?
Yes.
All right, Tony. How about the rest of you? Tony. All right, we're going to kick it off into high gear today with a great song by Eddie Watkins Jr., We Come Together. It's not in your songbooks, but we've done it a few times. You'll catch on. Here we go. Feel free to get up and dance. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift up your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love, we come together.
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 In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves me and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift up your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love, we come together.
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 In the name of love, in every walk of life, in every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. They say, Namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift up your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 In the name of love, we come together.
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 In the name of love, we come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come
We come
together.
together.
In the name of love, we come together.
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 In the name of love. All right. That's a great way to get the day started, get the blood flowing, and make us know that we're alive, because we are alive. We are the very essence of life, experiencing life as our own individualized selves. So I want to say welcome to anybody who's visiting us for the first time. I want to say thank you for bringing your consciousness here to engage in our consciousness and spread this love across the world. And I want to say hello to everybody who's watching us online as well, whether you're watching live or in the archive. It's a pleasure to have you with us. So we come together in the name of love. Love is the only creative power. Love is all we're ever really talking about. We use words like God and spirit and universal energy and all of those things. But ultimately, it's all about love, isn't it? Doesn't it feel good to know that love is the only thing that there is?
Yes.
All right. I see it's going to be one of those days. Well, here to talk a little bit more about the concept of love and the concept of what it is to engage in love and to really embody this principle and in this teaching is a fantastic friend of mine and a very dear friend of mine who was one of my first connections to Toronto before I ever arrived here, and it was through the Mental Muscle program, which I used to help facilitate the online version of that back in Los Angeles before I became a minister. And that's how I got to know our practitioner intern of the day. And once I became a minister and moved up here, lo and behold, here he is in our center, and he's now training to be a practitioner. And it is such a joy to welcome to the lectern for the first time in this capacity, Fred Ouimet.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is kindergarten for me. I don't know where that concept came from, but it just popped into my head, so there you are. First of all, I'll introduce myself. I am Fred Ouimet, is how you pronounce my last name. It's a lot of consonants, O-U-I, but it's we in French. Met, very easy, so we met. You'll never forget it. So that's it. First of all, I wanted to talk about my fellow practitioners who are practitioner students, I am honored to be studying with these brilliant, brilliant minds who are learning to know the truth. Not just learning to live it, because I believe we all live the truth, the inner spirit, but really to study it and to be way showers, if there's another way to say it. So you guys have set the bar kind of high. So I'm honored to be here and to have seen you all at the lectern as well. It's quite an honor. You all heard how I met Jonathan, but I want to ask you something. How did you get here today? What brought you here? How did I get here? It's been on my mind quite a bit recently. My life has gone through a lot of changes and a lot of exciting things and some not so exciting things, which I also honor, by the way. But I've asked myself recently, how did I get here? For me, it started as the consciousness part of my journey started with Michel, who was here last week at the lectern. He is my spiritual brother. We were spiritual brothers long before we knew there was such a thing called science of mind. And we were reading Marianne Williamson and some of the great leaders, Eckhart Tolle. We were studying on our own, just seeking, finding answers inside. And Michelle also outed me about how I came to this philosophy. I almost showed up in flip-flops and a martini glass today. For those of you who don't know, I was on a cruise ship, and I shouldn't have been on that cruise ship technically because I had just lost a huge contract right after I booked. And Michelle and I talked and he said, you need to go. There's something on there that's going to change our lives. I don't know what it is, but it's a feeling I have. That's how we lived in the feeling. That's living it, embodying it. It was, no, go. And I thought, well, okay, so I'll watch my pennies. No, I won't. I have an abundance. I'm on a cruise ship. And I heard about this thing called muscle. Now, for those of you who don't know, it happens to be a gay cruise ship. And I've never said that publicly, but Jonathan's told you all it is. But it had the word muscle in it. I was looking at the agenda. I was out on the back deck, and it said something muscle. And I went, well, muscle, that's got to be worth going to. So I went to this thing called spiritual muscle, flexing your spiritual muscle. And I did. I went in flip-flops and a martini glass, and I was about 25 pounds heavier, and I was wearing clothes that probably I would still have trouble fitting in, just to give you a visual. But I felt pretty. And I met James Mellon. I met Reverend James Mellon at that moment. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but every word that came out of his mouth resonated with something in my soul. Everything he said was, I was having those yes moments. Yes. Oh my God, yes, yes. And I was going to stick around and talk with him afterwards, but as you can imagine, all of these men on the ship were going to talk to James. And I thought, no, if I'm meant to talk to this man, I will. And about an hour and a half later, I was out on the back deck, and I was talking to my partner, and I said, hey, yeah. And he said, you didn't stick around to say hi? And I said, no, I believe I'll run into him. And I literally turned around, and he was standing behind me in his tight shorts. And I started talking, and it was like talking to somebody that I had known my entire life. And I knew that I'd found a place. I knew that I'd found a place instinctively. He invited me to do the mental muscle. I did the online mental muscle. I was the first Canadian. And I came back, and Michelle signed up. And then we had a friend, Prue, who signed up, who still follows the philosophy as well. And it was really, truly life-changing. I'll tell you something very interesting is Michelle phoned me one day. This was a very interesting, because I'm going to out him now. So there you go. Michelle phoned me one day on a Sunday, and he said, Fred, I'm talking to God this morning. And I had issues around the word God. I have to tell you that. I may have had a couple of leftover things from my previous experiences with what God meant. And he said, you won't believe it. It's like everything is alive. The whole everything. It's all alive. And I'm sitting here and I'm basking in this thing, this peace, and I am on the phone and I'm listening. And then I said, Michelle, don't tell anybody. It's the truth. I thought he's flipped his lid. This friend of mine has flipped his lid. So and a few short months after that, I have to tell you, because what started to happen was a few short months after that, I had a friend get in the car and go, oh my God, do you know what? I think Michelle is spending too much time alone up there up north and reading too many books. I said, why is that? He said he's talking to the birds and the trees and everything. And I went, really? And I went, me too, because I was there. And what's very interesting, if you're new to this philosophy, I promise, you're not going to talk to birds and trees. You're just going to see life in everything. You're going to see life in everything, right? Everything is God. We talk about it here. And it doesn't matter the word you give it. Everything is alive, right? That's what this philosophy can do for you. It can take you from, we're talking about the power of decision. It can take you from the uncertain to the certain. It can erase your doubts. It can take away like all the fears of everything that circumstance going on around you, right? Honor those things that happen. You got to honor those things that happen. Experiences in my life recently have forced me to understand this philosophy in a deeper way. There are no coincidences. There is nothing that happens that you cannot choose. Happiness, peace, regardless. And still honor those moments of fear, darkness, doubt. Let them be your guide. Let them be like a GPS. You can turn it off when you need to. But let it be a GPS that's happening to you for a reason, right? And that's, for me, that's how I got here. That's how I am right here. I believe that each and every one of us in this room, I look around, I don't see faces, I see energy, I see love in everybody, all of you. And I mean, I aspire to bring that out in everybody in the world, because that's a place to live from. When you can, I walked down Yonge Street a few weeks ago and I saw a homeless guy. I'm telling you, and I just saw this guy beaming light, right? I mean, I just saw it. And I thought, if I can see that, I can see it in anything. I didn't say, oh yeah, the young guy needs to be. And I'll tell you partly why, because there's a time in my life where I lived on the street. Most people don't know that. I lived on the street as a teenager, okay? I've had that experience. I was still who I am now. I just didn't see it because it was all layered up, right? This philosophy has taught me to lose those layers, right? And everything has happened in this moment to bring me right here, right now. And it's such a blessing. It's such an honor to be here, I got to tell you. I have a quote from Ernest Holmes, so I might as well read it. I'm sure it'll tie in somewhere, because I'm not even following these notes. But I want to say something really quick, though, actually, because this happened this morning, and it sort of, I was working on my computer, and the power button came on saying you need to plug in. So I went and got the power cord, and then I went back to working on the computer. And all of a sudden, the power is low sign came up again, and I realized that I had the cord, and I plugged it into the computer, but I didn't plug it into the wall. Right? I look at this philosophy a lot like that computer. Right? We all have all the equipment we need. We have the cord, we have the computer, we have the power. The power's behind the wall. Who cares where it comes from or how it gets there? It's just there. All we got to do is plug into it, right? From my talk this morning, I want to live plugged in to everything, to every emotion or feeling or whatever it is that I need to honor. I want it to be real, right? And I want to be at choice with how I actually turn myself on. Wait a minute. I want to be at choice. That's not in my notes either, just so you know. So the quote that I have from Ernest Holmes, to sort of tie this up a little bit, and I hope it does, daily we must control all thought that denies the real, typo, that denies the real, affirm the divine presence within us. So let me read you that quote again. Daily we must control all thought that denies the real, affirm the divine presence within us. It's not saying ignore it. It's saying honor it and come back to the truth that we are divine no matter what experience or things are going on around us. I have simply learned to live my life plugged in. I study because I'll study till the day I die, because I will learn something new and fresh from this philosophy all the time. I have a great mentor in James Mellon was my first mentor. I can't think of a more in line mentor than Jonathan Zenz. This has been an incredible journey, and he's been there through thick and thin, through everything. This is a man who really is taking us on a journey. And this whole center, just get ready, because the lid's going to be blown off, I'm telling you. Our daily affirmation, what I'd like to do for my moment, at this moment, what I'd like to say is I'd like to do an affirmation, and I'll say it, and then maybe we can say it together. I hope there's no typos, because we're all saying them if I did. I live my life plugged in, charged, and fully ready to go. Again, I live my life plugged in, charged, and fully ready to go. And one more time. I live my life plugged in, charged, and fully ready to go. Thank you.
I live my life plugged in, charged, and fully ready to go. We are fully ready to go, launching from this place. We're going to do a chant that's also a newer. We have to update our songbooks because we keep doing all these new songs. In the chant, Fred will offer us a spiritual mind treatment, but I'm going to invite you all to simply take in what you've heard, what resonates with you, what resonates for you. Just take a breath into that. Allow yourself to release, let go, and allow, and simply be fully present for this moment in this experience. Take a breath. Love only, forgive everything. Remember who you are. Love only, forgive everything. Remember who you are. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Love only, forgive everything. Remember who you are.
I trust and know that there is one thing going on, and we call it God, and any name we give it, God, love, universe, spirit. It is all one divine presence. And I am, and we are connected to this divine source. It is the golden thread that binds us. It is present in everything and everyone you see. It is omnipotent. And it is who we are. It is who we are here to be. It is how we are here to shine. And in this moment, it feels good. And knowing that there is a choice, always a choice. It is divine and right to choose what makes our hearts sing. Our lives are a blank canvas, a journal, and we get to write the pages from this point right here, right now, and then sew it together with that golden thread that unites and binds us all. I am so grateful for this teaching, for the understanding that we are all God. It is with a grateful heart and an open mind that I release these words, and it is done, as together we say, and so it is.
Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Love only, forgive everything. Remember who you are.
Thank you, Fred. It was beautiful. Beautiful. I'm so grateful that the practitioners and the practitioner interns are so open and willing to freely share their stories, because really it's in our stories that we learn who we are and learn how to take the next step forward. When we know who we are, we know how to move forward. So, about 2.5 years ago, I first came to this center, just over 2.5 years ago. I first came to this center and didn't really know a lot of people. I knew the people that I'd met when I was here in November, and I knew Fred. And but Fred lived in Brampton at the time, and he was a little far for me to see him all the time. But a lovely couple used to invite me to their house, and still do, for dinner regularly. And they are our music directors, Pierre Gautreau and Tanis Burnett. And it was about 2 years ago that I would go there every week for dinner, and we'd have a lovely time. And I finally said, I should do something for you. And I'd love to make some vegan enchiladas, because as you may or may not know, Tanis and Pierre are vegan. I'm going to make some vegan enchiladas for you. And I kept saying this, and I kept saying this, and kept saying this. And, it was kind of that funny promise that never got fulfilled. Well, at the same time, Tanis started saying, you know what song I would love to do? I would love to do this particular song, and, it would be a great song to do. And I said, yes, it would be a wonderful song to do. We just need to know what key, and, well, we need to do it in this key, and we're in the key that this artist does it in, and can we get the chart for that? Well, I'm sure we can, but we need to know what key that is. And, this went on and went on and went on, and 3 weeks ago, I finally made vegan enchiladas. And brought them over, and we enjoyed those. And last week, I said, well, this week's topic is based on Chapter 4 of The Power of Decision, which is decide to be happy. And I said, everyone is sick of the Pharrell Williams song, Happy, so we're not going to do that. Though we will do that someday, because I love that song. It's a great song. But here, fulfilling her promise of 2.5 years, is Tanis Burnett singing Feeling Good.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun. You know what I mean, oh you know. Butterflies all having fun. You know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done. That's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me. For me. For me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. Oh, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I feel so good. I feel so good.
Now you feel good. All right. So I'm going to start off with trivia. As you know, I love trivia. Fran, you're not allowed to answer this. Or Tony. Or anybody in the band who's seen the chart. That song, do you know that that song is from a Broadway show? Do you know the name of the show? It's called The Roar of the Grease Paint, Smell of the Crowd. And it's the song is written by Leslie Bricusse and Anthony Newley, who also wrote the music for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Did you know that? No. Anyway, some of my favorite music. Anyway, this song, God bless Tanis for doing this song. This is a hard, hard song. And I am so grateful that you stepped up and you decided to do it and face your fear in doing it. Because you can, you can build up a lot of fear. I have done it in my past performing career. You can build up a lot of fear around a song, and then you get up in front of a crowd and you've got all this fear, and all of a sudden everything falls apart. That did not fall apart. That was fantastic. So yes, we are in week four of this 8-week series on the power of decision by Raymond Charles Barker. So this week is Decide to be Happy. Decide to be happy. So I'm going to start off with the question. Remember, as of last week, there are no rhetorical questions. If you feel compelled, I'm happy to entertain you in answering this question. But I'll invite everyone to think about it for themselves, and if anybody shouts it out, it's good for them. here's the question. What is happiness? What is happiness? What is it? What is this thing? It's kind of an elusive idea. Happiness is kind of an elusive idea because I think we can all say, well, I want to be happy. Right? And yet, what is happiness? How would you describe it? How would you put words to this elusive kind of feeling? And here's the bigger question. How do you know that you're happy? How do you know that you're happy? When do you know that you're happy? What are the telltale signs that you can skip? Yes, skip. I'm no longer walking down the street. I'm skipping down the street. What are the telltale signs that you have that say, I am happy? And it is. It's about feeling good. You feel it. It is simply a feeling, and it is an embodied feeling. Raymond Charles Barker describes it like this. It's the very first sentence in the chapter. Happiness is genuine satisfaction with your present experience. Happiness is genuine satisfaction with your present experience. Happiness is an experience of the now. So if you think at some point you're going to be happy, think again. Happiness is only an experience of the now. And this is why we talk about the decision to be happy. Don't think, well, when I get this, I will be happy. No, 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 no. You will not be happy until you decide to be happy. And you know what's going to end up happening? That thing that you desire is going to show up in your experience, or something better. Happiness is right now. And let's all divest ourselves of the idea that happiness was something we once experienced and we may never experience it again. If you're there, come talk to me, because I will beat that out of you. I know. It's just what came through me in the moment. I will beat the happiness into you. For those of you online, Fred just said, I remember that in class. Yeah. So happiness is not something you will be in the future. Happiness is not something you've left behind in the past. Happiness is a decision to live fully engaged in the present moment and genuinely satisfied with what you're experiencing. Now, are there times when we experience things that are not so much fun? The question in those moments is, what do you do with the circumstances that you have? What is your relationship to those circumstances? Because you can shift yourself into the place of happiness by realigning your relationship to the circumstances as they appear. Now, there are people who come to me, and I've had experiences, I've talked about them. I've had experiences where things did not feel so good in that moment. But what it ultimately took was not me trying to change the things. It took me changing my state of mind, changing my attitude, and trusting in this understanding that when that happens, the circumstances take care of themselves. That's the truth. That's what we teach. Nothing in the world of form shifts without first our acceptance of it on the mental plane, on the conscious plane. Nothing shifts. Nothing. Because as long as you are in that frame of mind, everything out there is going to keep showing up the same way until you decide to change. How you doing, Cara? Because I know I do this. Are you happy? Okay, I'm glad to hear it. Took her a minute to say yes, but I'm glad to know it. All right, so I've always loved this song. I've loved this song. First of all, it is beautifully constructed music. It is not easy music, right, Fran? Right, band? It's not easy music. When I actually sat down and really studied, because I do know music theory, and I really studied I actually got the long version, where it's like 9 pages, and they got a 3-page version, which good for them. And I started looking at the structure of the song and wacky chords that, right, Pierre? How many new chords did you learn this week? Lots. It is beautifully constructed music, and one of the things that I love about this song is you cannot help but feel good when you hear it, right? That's the power of music. That was the power of Leslie Bricusse and Anthony Newley, because they wrote incredible music that you just were lifted up. One of the greatest songs, and we have to do it here, is Come With Me and You'll See a World of Pure Imagination. Great song. They had the capacity to really shift the feeling of an experience through their music. Powerful, powerful stuff. The lyrics of this song touch on a lot. But what I really, really love is it talks about birds, the sun, the breeze, fish, the river, dragonfly, butterflies, tree blossoms. They're talking about all the things that are around us that are just natural. And I love the idea of fish and the trees and the birds. They all now know how I feel because they are just naturally happy. Think about that. There is nothing that is telling anything in the nature world that there's anything outside of happiness. So they don't take on these ideas that we can very easily take on ourselves, and many of us do, that there's anything beyond happiness. They just simply exist, genuinely satisfied with the present moment. Genuinely satisfied with the present moment. I tell you, I have 3 cats at home, and Tony. And Tony, will you agree with me that those 3 cats are genuinely satisfied in every moment? Absolutely. They don't need to be told to be happy. They don't need to be told that at some point in their future they'll get their food, so they'll be happy. They're just happy. And if they want their food, they know where to go. Boy, howdy, do they know where to go. Happiness is simply natural. It is a natural state of being. So I actually disagree with the title of the chapter. The title of the chapter is Decide to be Happy. Happiness is just who we are. Can you give over to that? Can you give over to the energy of just being happy? Because happiness is not a choice. Unhappiness is a choice. Unhappiness is a choice. So when we talk about deciding to be happy, what we're actually saying is decide to not be unhappy and live in your natural state of being. Because there's nothing you need to really do to be happy except to accept genuine satisfaction with your present moment. That's it. So what is the biggest hindrance to your happiness? What is the biggest hindrance do you feel to your happiness? Our beliefs. Our beliefs. That's it. Our beliefs are the biggest hindrance to our happiness. And usually those beliefs are grounded in the idea that to be happy, we have to change the circumstances. Going to that place of, well, if it were just so, if this were just like this, then I would be happy, or I could be happy. But what have you done in that moment by saying that? If that thing out there were in this certain way, then I would be happy, or I could be happy if this were that way. You have 100% relinquished your power over yourself. And what we teach here is you are in control. You are the power which creates your life. You are the expression of this loving, generous, creative energy. In form, yes, we all have form, thank God, because if we didn't have form, I don't know how we would experience life. I love experiencing life. But when you relinquish your power, you will never shift circumstances. Because now you're allowing the circumstances to control you. Think about that. When you relinquish your power, you are now allowing circumstances to control you. You're the one in charge. You're the one in charge. And circumstances will never change until you reclaim your power. So let's lift our own minds up into that place of understanding that we are the power, we are the love, we are the light, we are the wisdom and the joy and the beauty and the peace and the harmony of a divine power that is without equal because there's nothing else. Barker writes, everything that happens to you happens because of you. No longer should any of us go through life. No longer should any of us just go through life. If you're experiencing something that doesn't feel so good, trust that you grow through it. And decide today that in those times you grow through life. And that is readdressing your relationship to the circumstances. And once you readdress it, what didn't feel so good dissipates. So we are no longer just going through life, we are growing through life. And that is, I should attribute that, that is attributable to Eric Butterworth from the Unity philosophy. Material things will never make you happy. Material things will never make you happy. I think about when I was in Guatemala back in March. Was that March or May? Now I can't remember. It was May. I traveled so much this year. I'm like, it was May, yeah. And I have never seen more happy children in my life who had very little in the way of material possessions. And I look at children in our here. I look at relatives of mine who have material possessions, and in a lot of ways, they're not as happy as those children that I experienced in Guatemala. Material possessions will never, ever make you happy. Your happiness will draw into your experience more of the material, if that's what you want. It's not a requirement to be happy, but you'll get more if you understand who you are, which is, at the core, happiness embodied. Your ideas make you happy. Your ideas make you happy. Your thinking makes you happy. Your beliefs make you happy. And you are the believer and you are the thinker, not the belief or the thought. Thinkers also take action. Thinkers take action. And not in a rote or mechanical way. Thinkers take unique action. Because if you are a thinker, and we are all thinkers, yes? And the rest of you? We are all thinkers when we allow ourselves to be unique thinkers and not buy into everything that we're reading in the newspaper or buy into everything that we're seeing on the television or buying into everything that is tweeted through or whatever comes up on the internet. None of that matters. What matters is what you know and who you are. Not in a rote or mechanical way, in a perfectly unique way. You matter. You all look so serious. But you do. You matter. And what you think matters. And don't... I need a tissue. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. What you think matters. You are important to this experience of life because you are the experience of life at your individualized level of it. If you are experiencing life in a rote or mechanical way, this is a sign of a specific tendency in thought. And this is one of the big aspects of my ministry, is to really address and recognize the tendencies in thought. Those are just habits. And typically those things are rooted in the past, or they are anticipating the future based on the past. And what have we all of a sudden done? Oh my gosh, I'm anticipating the future, but I'm looking at the past. Anticipating the future, looking at the past for some paradigm over here that can equate to what is happening over here. And all of a sudden, wait, where am I? I'm no longer living in the moment. I am no longer genuinely satisfied with my present moment. And so how could I possibly be happy? You exist in the now. You exist right here, right now. And this is all there is. This moment. Nothing else exists. The past is done. Any mistake you think you've made, it's done. Let it go. Let it go. Barker writes this: static states, these are the rote mechanical like things that we can't break from. Static states are not conducive to happiness. A forward-moving consciousness is life. And when we're in that place of movement forward, fully grounded in the now, we are fully experiencing life. So are you moving forward? regardless of your perception of your current circumstances, okay, I will ask a rhetorical question. Just check in with yourself right now and let's ask ourselves the question, what am I not feeling content with in my life right now? Just check in with yourself. Is there something that you can identify that you're not feeling content with right now? And now, in this moment, right here, right now, decide to change. Decide to be the impetus for change in your life, because you are a thinker. And your thought shifts the experience. So your capacity to think something new right now, to think a new thought right now, shifts the entire experience of life. Everything is perception. Everything we experience is perception. And our relationship to it is simply a mental relationship to it. That's it. We're the ones in charge of our own receptivity or reaction to what is presented to us. And some people will say, well, certain aspects or experiences of life are not fair. And maybe in some minds, something may not seem fair. There's a woman that I met once, but she profoundly shifted my life. And recently, she's been on my mind a lot. And she really came to the fore of my conscious awareness on Thursday. Was it Thursday night that you sent me that text? And the reason that she came to my consciousness very vividly on Thursday night, even though she's been on my mind these past several weeks, is because of the thing that's been happening, the sensation that's been happening on the internet. What's been happening on the internet lately, those of you? The Ice Bucket Challenge. So this woman that I'm talking about, her name is Catherine Scatula. She was a beautiful, brilliant actress. Brilliant actress. And in 2007, she was diagnosed with ALS. I met her at a fundraiser that we were doing to help support her family in paying medical bills. I met her in 2008, early on in 2008. By the summer of 2008, she had made her transition. 1 year. From diagnosis, full progression, and she was on to her next experience. So, on Thursday night, I was nominated to do the Ice Bucket Challenge by none other than Fred Ouimet. He did do it. And I really sat back, and it's been more than 24 hours. He's probably wondering, why did he not respond within 24 hours? It's because I sat back and I really thought about it. And I thought, the truth is, and this is what a lot of people have been doing, really, the money to support ALS research is more important than dumping a bucket of ice water over my head. And then I started looking at some of the research on ALS. Part of the reason that it doesn't get a lot of support is because in the grander scheme of humanity, there really are not that many people afflicted with it. So in a for-profit pharmaceutical industry, there's no profit in trying to find a cure. And so it is important to me in this aspect and in this regard to honor the legacy of my, well, I'll call her my friend, even though I met her once, but she has changed my life dramatically. My friend, Catherine Scatula. When I met her, she could not move, but she had the most amazing blue eyes, and the life in her eyes was unbelievable. Unbelievable. You just looked in her eyes and you could see the happiness in her eyes. She made a decision to be happy outside of the experience of circumstances in her life. That's how she profoundly shifted me, because I recognized that in her. And so, having been nominated by Fred, this morning, I made a contribution to ALS Canada, and I'm utilizing the ice bucket for my own purpose now. And so, I nominate Alex Robert Holmes, Pierre Gautreau, and Helen Vallot to take part in the Ice Bucket Challenge. I also want to talk about the Ice Bucket Challenge a little bit beyond just this experience of it. By the way, it's not really scotch. The Ice Bucket Challenge was the result of one man's idea. One person, and I talk about this all the time, one person can profoundly affect the entire world. Are you that person today in this moment? Because there's nothing that says you can't be that person. There's nothing stopping you. This is the result of a man who got off his bum. And there it is, the title of the talk. Get off your bum. This is a man who stood up and said, I choose to step into something new and to effect change in my world. And this is the way that I choose to do it. And he really shifted the consciousness. You have the right to be happy. You have the right to be happy. So today, in this moment, release any conviction from a previous philosophy that would suggest otherwise. Many of us may have come to this philosophy with our roots in other philosophies that would suggest that happiness is something to achieve at a later date, and that suffering is something that is a good thing. You don't need to suffer. Be happy. One of the greatest magnets for happiness is gratitude. What are you grateful for? Another magnet for happiness is generosity. How can you be generous in this world? The decision to be happy takes courage. It does take courage. And by that I mean it takes courage to stand up to anyone who would try and convince you otherwise. And there will be those people. There will be those people. It takes courage to practice this entire philosophy and to grasp the new while letting go of the old. But the results are so satisfying. I always joke. I joke at least once a month about how people can come in here, and if they've never been here before, they'll look at us and think, my gosh, these people are so happy. How is that possible? How can anybody be so happy? You know? And so I really want to take it to the next question, which is what I utilize all the time, and ask you this question: what can you do? That's my go-to question for pretty much everything. In counseling sessions, I'm always inviting someone to take a look at what they can do, because what I'm usually hearing in counseling sessions, well, I can't do this, and I can't do this, and this isn't working for me. And I go, well, okay, fine. Those are the past circumstances. What can you do? And that is taking charge of your life. What action will you take? What will your verse be? Ensure it is founded in some level of conviction, and right in this moment, make a decision to get off your bum and do it. It doesn't have to be world-changing. It doesn't have to be world-changing. But it has to change you. Barker writes, all negative states are self-created and can be self-neutralized. All negative states are self-created and can be self-neutralized. And in fact, a negative state can only be self-neutralized. There are no finalities in the universe, and every person can change himself when he decides to do it. But it does require taking action, getting up, standing up, getting off your bum. Your mind is the only thing that will impel you to do that. I can stand up here all day till I'm blue in the face and say, get off your bum. You will never do it until you make the decision to do it. Thought leads to action. Action leads to result. If you want to be the impetus for change in your own life, and as a result, who knows? You might awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence and create a world that works for everyone. You, by yourself. This is what we claim to be doing here, awakening humanity to its spiritual magnificence and creating a world that works for everyone. And a lot of us may look at that and think, wow, that sounds really big. You might be the one to actually do it. What will your verse be? So in honor of the idea of getting up off your bum, I'm going to close today with this final advice in the book from Raymond Charles Barker. And this is my favorite, and it's a long quotation. It is my favorite quotation in the entire book. Many of you will recognize this from having taken this course, and I'm sure I've read it in service before. So I'm going to invite you all to do this, as he writes. Start doing new and different things. Start eating different foods. Start activating your social life. Expand your circle of friendships. Go everywhere you are invited, whether or not you want to go. If you need new clothes, get them. If your home needs refreshing with wallpaper and paint, call in the decorators. Because I don't know who uses wallpaper anymore. Oh, Lordy. And skinny jeans are on their way out. Thank God. What? Yeah. All right, I'm going to continue with the quote now. Shift pictures from wall to wall. Rearrange them in various rooms. And then I love this because he's so self-serving. Read books like this one. And then he allows spiritual directors to be quite self-serving. If there is a metaphysical church in your area, attend it. And support it with your money. Give a little more than you normally would in order to open up your channels of receptivity. This is an important aspect of this philosophy, and I really want to clarify this. He wrote here, give a little more than you normally would in order to open up your channels of receptivity. Note that it's not about me getting. It's about you giving so that you can open up to the receptive nature of the universe. Because as you give, so you receive. Do not eat alone too much. Do not be alone too much. Keep in circulation with the human race. People are wonderful. God works wonders by means of people. Reactivate old hobbies or find new ones. I reactivated an old hobby a few weeks ago. I know, Janice is laughing. Most people don't know that I crochet. And I reactivated that hobby. I haven't crocheted anything for about a decade. And I decided, you know what? I want to take it up again. I decided to start with an Afghan. I have to finish that first. Keep yourself well-groomed and wear your best clothes on every possible occasion. I did get asked why I was wearing a tie this morning. Find things to laugh about. Find things to laugh about. You know, I love that we have a good time, and I love that we laugh, and I love that there's so much humor that we experience in this celebration on Sunday mornings, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to each and every one of you for going on the ride with me. I really wish you'd shown up in, short shorts and a martini glass. The most important thing to do is to remember this. God wants you to be happy. God wants you to be happy. Really hear that? God wants you to be happy. Namaste. I'm going to invite Helen Vallot up to speak to you for a few moments. So there was a happy see, this is the pun. There was a happy accident that happened last week. When I got to the end of my talk, it's not Scotch. When I got to the end of my talk and I found myself having to use the washroom so desperately that I had to run off stage and invite Helen to come up and do this portion of the service, which is the offering. But I actually really like that. It shouldn't always be me talking about the offering. So I'm going to invite Helen Vallot to lead us in this next section of the service.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to everyone online. And I'm going to invite you to take out your tithe, your gift, your investment, your popsicle stick if you are a steward. He's got his popsicle stick. And remember that we are always channels of giving and receiving. And as we open up more, we receive more, and we have more to give. And so I invite you also to say this affirmation while you're holding on to your gift. I am blessed.
I am blessed.
Thank you. As I give, I receive.
I receive.
I am thankful for all the abundance in my life.
I am thankful for all of the abundance in my life.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm going to invite you to please stand up, and as the baskets go around, we are singing,
What Do I Have?
What Do I Have?
What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What do I do to show I care? What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What do I do to show I care? What do I have to give? What do I need to live? What do I have to share? What do I do to show I care? What do I give? What do I give? What do I give?
And so I'm going to invite you to remain standing and lift our own energy up as Fred blesses our offering today.
Oh, beautiful. I recognize the divine presence in this offering, this giving. Money is energy. It's a form of currency. And I trust and know that as every person gave their currency, their energy, their love, energy, in forms of offerings today, that it is divinely expressed through this center and through the desire for this center to change and to wake this world. It is with divine gratitude that we accept these beautiful offerings right here, right now, and trust that it will be used for the highest good. As I release these words, I know it is so, and it is done, and together we say, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Fred. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank Angelica and Jim, our board members on duty today, for your service. Yes. I want to thank Lori and Tia, who set up for us today, and our greeters, Jim and Tia. I want to thank Margaret Ann, who's in the bookstore today. I want to thank Carrie in our sound booth. Carrie. I want to thank Cara, who's on our webcast today. And I also want to acknowledge and say hello again to everybody who is watching us online and say thank you for allowing your presence to be here with us, because whether you think we do or we don't, we do feel you here, and it is a joy to have you join us. I want to thank, with our dynamic kid today, I think there's only one, I want to thank Mahala, who is out there with Nevea. I really want to say thank you to Tanis Burnett and the Queen Street Band. Thank you to Fran for your keyboard today. I want to thank Helen for your service today. And I want to thank my dear friend, who, whether he knows it or not, changed my life through his experience and by being a part of my life. And I'm so grateful to you. I'm grateful for your beautiful meditation today. I'm grateful for your words of wisdom, your affirmation, your treatments. Absolutely splendid. Thank you so much, Fred Ouimet. And so, we come to this place of reflection and recognition. And I invite you all to simply relax right where you are and allow yourself to understand, what can you do? What can you do? How do you step up right in this moment? You are the power of a divine love in action that is unparalleled and cannot be stopped, for it is always moving forward, evolving into greater expressions of itself. This is the truth. So whatever it is you heard today, let that be an impetus for your week, and share it with the world.
I wanna sing a love song. The world can sing along. I wanna sing a love song. The world can sing along. I love you. I do. I love you. It's true.
And so in this moment, I recognize and know that there is this one infinite power and nothing else. There is love and nothing else. There is creation and creativity and nothing else. There is God and nothing else. And each and every one of us is a perfect individualized expression of this divine energy living its life. For there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is our life, fully experienced right here and right now. Stepping into this understanding and allowing this to be the impetus for how I move forward and how each and every one of us moves forward into expression in every moment. I claim for each and every one of us that our divine birthright is pure health, perfect expression, infinite light, and pure happiness. For we are each of us feeling good. I know this. I allow this and nothing else. I allow only the greatness of this divine power to be expressed through us. And I know that we carry this forward into every moment, and we touch every single person we encounter with our light. This is the truth, and I simply, in gratitude, allow this to resonate and be reflected back to me in everything I think, everything I say, everything I do. And I know that everyone here does so at their perfect understanding of this. And so I release this word, knowing it is complete, to that immutable law that says, yes, it is done. And letting it be so, I simply step out of the way and allow it to unfold as together we say, and so it is.
If everybody sang a love song, if everybody sang a love song, what could it do? It would wash away the hate, let in a little faith, and maybe shift a fearful point of view. Oh, I want to sing a love song. The world can sing along. I love you. I do. It's true.
Pierre Gautreau. Let's kick it into high gear and out into the street with God Makes Me Want to Sing. It's on page 15 of your songbooks. Thank you all. Have a great week, everyone.
I can't help it, God makes me want to sing. I can't help it, God makes me want to sing. It makes me feel so good, I could do most anything, yeah. So I am loving every living thing.
Everything, every living thing.
I can see the face of God in paupers and kings.
In kings, paupers and kings.
We're all precious, no less or more. We've all got the same treasures in store. So I'm a loving, oh, every living thing. I can't help it, God makes me want to sing. I can't help it, God makes me want to sing. Oh, it makes me feel so good, I could do most anything, yeah. So I'm believing in my guiding light.
In my light, in my guiding light.
No matter what comes, it always turns out right.
Everything turns out right.
I'll just dig right down to how I feel. Then I'll take a deep breath and I'll grab the wheel. So I'm believing, oh, in my guiding light. I can't help it, God God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. It makes me feel so good. I could do most anything, yeah. So I am rising, oh, to a higher place.
To a higher place.
With the wind at my back and a smile upon my face.
Upon my face.
Living my dream a little more each day, and it keeps getting easier to find my way. So I'm rising, oh, to a higher place. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. Hey, I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. Oh, it makes me feel so good. I could do most anything, yeah. Hey, hey, I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. It makes me feel so good. I can do most anything, yeah. I can't help it. God makes me want to sing.
God makes me want to sing.
I can't help it. God makes me want to sing. Oh, it makes me feel so good. I could do most anything.